What up, everyone? Welcome back to Keeping Up with the Chaldeans. I have my co-host Anthony Toma, and we have Ferris Ayar today of Astute Strategic Marketing and Consulting Group, right? So that's who we've got today on the show to talk about his involvement in the community and things that his business offers as well. First, before we start off, how is everybody's week going so far? Everybody
So far, so good.
Yeah, weather's been
Hectic
holding
but
up.
good, man. Yeah, weather's nice. It's gonna cool down a little bit.
Yeah, summer's been holding, seems like, right? Better than the way it started.
Finally.
Yeah, we needed that. So go ahead and then explain to us about yourself and your business and how you got here, and then we'll get into everything else later on.
Great, thanks. So Astute Group is a unique business, and what we do is we come into small and mid-sized businesses, and we bring in corporate level marketing strategies and tactics at a level that fits the needs of small business.
Okay.
So, when people talk about marketing, if I ask 10 people what is marketing, I'll get 15 different answers at least.
Yeah.
Different people have different thoughts about what marketing is, but the most important thing about marketing is strategy. And people don't realize when they're doing marketing, they're thinking it's about advertising and promotion, but the minute you say that I want to start a business, you start strategizing. That's a marketing function. If it's a retail business, you're thinking about where am I going to put it. If it's any other kind of business or any business you start, you're going to think about, well, why would people come to me? And that's differentiation. That's a part of marketing strategy. So Chaldeans, being business people our whole life,
Yes.
we have some of those skill sets integrated into us. We just don't realize where they're coming from.
Right.
What I do then is I take that to a professional level, because that's what really makes the difference. I mean, there's one thing that every successful business has in common. I don't care what the business is, large or small.
What's that?
Great marketing.
Yeah. Successful.
Every successful business has
Right.
great marketing. Because if you didn't, nobody would know who you are.
You're right.
And that's commonly different than what we went through growing up, because we used to just have businesses, stores, cell phone stores, whatever. We never.
All the marketing was a sale paper.
Well, yeah.
Whoever put out the most sale papers got the most business.
Yeah.
No,
Whoever,
but you guys still missed
whoever
the point.
lowballed everything was the same business. But now it's changing.
But you missed the point. Even then, we should say location, location, location.
This is true too.
That's
yeah.
a marketing function.
Yes.
When you decide where your location is, that's part of the strategic function in marketing, where you're gonna, the old school way of doing the analysis was get in your car, drive the neighborhood, sit in front of the store or the building for 2 weeks every day.
People come in and out.
Yeah, that's
true.
old school.
Or you work behind the register for a little while and
Exactly.
Yeah.
you check the tapes and
So we've done it since since we've come to this country.
sure.
But now the world has changed, the business environment has changed. Even in retail, it's gotten so competitive and so hard, and the old adages and the old way of doing business just doesn't apply anymore.
Right.
Not in the most. I mean, there's always a value to taking good care of your customers. That's the core of it.
Yes.
But we're talking well beyond just retail. As a matter of fact, to be quite frank with you guys, I don't deal with retail businesses. I don't deal with
Inline stores.
or like mortgage people or real estate. Where I add the most value and the kind of clients that I work with most are services, high value, high end services, attorneys.
But anyway, so when does Astute Group come into play? Like, how would I know as a business owner? How would I know, or anyone out there know, when it's time to call Astute Group?
From the minute you decide you want to start a business.
What, just start or improve or
Well,
what?
we focus on 4 things,
Okay.
okay? And they're all strategic. The first and foremost, if you're putting together a new business, you're going to need a marketing plan. You're going to need to do some research. And it's the right way to find out if you're going in the right direction with your idea. Sure, there's trial and error, but really you should do some market research. And it's also information that you would need if you're going to go out for funding.
Yeah, that's because you got a budget. Your marketing budget plan is
Not just
huge.
budget. If you want to go to a bank and get a loan, or if you want to go out for what do they call it, crowdfunding?
Right.
Mhm.
You got to have something to present, which is an idea.
And that's something people may not know about, and maybe that's something that's a huge added value that your company brings, that Astute Group brings to the table when somebody is trying to launch a business, right?
Oh yeah.
You line them.
You're right. A lot of the old timers don't understand crowdfunding. They
Right.
don't even consider it. But if you're young and you're trying to start a business these days, yeah, crowdfunding is a very common way to get the capital that you need to help get started.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you have something great to present.
And if some don't understand or just want to follow to know what that terminology is look at Kickstart, right?
Yeah.
Kickstart's a great way to look at for crowdfunding.
Kickstarter, yep.
Yep, Kickstart. So that's out there too. Now let's talk this for a second. Let's start from, like Anthony was saying, let's go to I myself are coming into a new business. You're just primarily helping me just to figure the marketing side of it, or how to conduct my day-to-day from the business itself.
Okay, so let me
To
explain.
know how far you
Yeah,
go.
let me explain. So what we do is what I do is operate at the management level,
Sure.
but I make sure that the work gets done,
Okay.
okay? So what'll happen is if you look, and one thing I want to make very clear, because it's a common concern that I hear amongst Chaldeans, and it really frustrates me. Please, don't be so close-minded as to say, well, they're a big company, they can do that. There's nothing in this day and
That's
age
true.
that a small business can't do.
I'm
If
guilty
you
of
limit
that.
yourself, then you're limiting yourself.
Yes.
You're really limiting yourself.
That's
Yeah.
a great point, Freddie.
Yeah, I mean, that's the number one challenge that people give themselves.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah, you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball without even taking a shot.
you know what the sad thing is?
What's that?
If we're smart about it, we look and say, hey, they already did it. Why am I going to do it again?
Right.
Right.
The big companies did it, and we see that it works.
Yes.
I just got to do it on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
You know what's
Gotta
crazy?
Take a little piece of the pie.
I used to think that. I used to own back in the days of wireless toys and said,
Mm-hmm.
why don't I just watch what Verizon and AT&T and them are already doing it? They've already laid it out and spent the money to get it done. Just follow suit and just try to make it do it a little nicer or better if you can.
I
Yeah.
had a wireless store back in the day, but I went straight to Verizon exclusive. And I'll be honest with you, that wasn't common when I did it.
Yeah.
But Verizon gave me the last license that they were going to give in Michigan, and they weren't even going to give it away. But they loved my business plan, and my business plan was strictly Verizon and focusing on data. So
And were you doing this company or this
No,
business
no,
at
no,
that
no,
time, or this
no,
was pre
no,
all
this
this?
this is many years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. But I've been in marketing my whole life.
That's
I got a bachelor's degree and an MBA, a master's.
from where?
U of M for my bachelor's, U of M Dearborn, and then my master's degree is from Wayne State.
Great.
And I've worked for the largest corporation in the world, General Electric. I was in sales, which is a division of marketing. Then I went to work for CompuWare, and I did marketing there. I've worked for a couple smaller businesses, and then I realized, you know what? I've worked at the largest companies, and I've
Mhm.
worked at small companies. And at the end of the day, it's all the same crap. You're just an employee
Yeah.
making them money,
Right.
and they'll throw you out whenever it's convenient for them. One of the last companies I worked for, I took $1.4 million in sales of a product line, and in 2 years, I turned it into $14 million in sales.
Wow, that is great.
1,000% growth.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but what I get for it?
No, you got experience.
You got
Listen,
experience.
you,
No, I
you,
did,
you
I
can
did.
take that. I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm trying to
And
say.
you can put that shit on your resume too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
Well,
now
that's just
Astute-
it. I
Astute
don't
Group's
keep
gonna
resume
benefit
anymore.
from
Now
that.
I just keep
Well,
case
you-
studies for my business, so you know what I've
actually,
done.
yeah. Well, it's part of the resume when
Yeah.
you're pitching your business. When
True.
somebody comes to you
Yeah,
about your
that's true.
business and they ask what you've done and where you've gone, and you can say from 1.4 million to 14 million.
Sometimes
15
even
million.
just self-confidence, man.
Oh, yeah.
To say I did this and knocked it out the park this way, it gives that self-confidence to get to an astute
Exactly.
company and make that, your new business because you felt like, man, I accomplished this, I could do it for my own.
How about if I tell you that's the honest to God's truth? I can give you 5
They may not
different
hear you, you might
situations.
have to go.
I can tell you that's the honest to God's truth. I can give you 5 situations where I have achieved accomplishments that are
dominated.
just crazy, but it's what I love to do.
Give
Yeah.
us some examples.
And remember, just for the record, so we know this isn't for anybody to feel like you're being cocky or arrogant in your way. You're confident.
These are facts,
That's what I'm
man.
saying.
He's
We
not
want
making
facts,
shit up.
which makes confidence. So let us
I
know.
appreciate that.
You want me to make shit up? I'll say I scored 42 points one time at the Chaldean Youth
How about me?
Basketball League.
I busted somebody in the lip with my left hook yesterday.
Right.
How about a real fact?
Okay, let's
The
stick
only
with it.
team
Let's
we
get back
beat-
to facts.
All right,
go ahead.
man.
No, go ahead. Let's hear it.
When we were in the youth group and Keiko basketball tournaments, Anthony's team is the only team my team beat. Poor AT, that was the first time I ever seen him angry, but he still wasn't like showing anger. It's just he wasn't as peppy cheery himself, and I
Yeah,
knew
yeah.
that.
Well, there's priests all over the place. I
Yeah.
couldn't cuss like I could like would want to.
So tell us some of those, the 5, some like you said, you have 5 accolades that are under your belt. What
I'll
are
tell you what, man. I was in college. I was 19 years old, and my uncle started a computer retail franchise. They
Mhm.
opened up a franchise store from this company.
Mhm.
And those guys were all messed up out of
And who's your
California.
uncle?
My uncles are the Jamils.
Okay.
The late deceased Sabah Jamil and Steve Safa Hussam and Gene Jamil.
Okay.
And they used to own Computer Builders Warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a kid, I was working with them, and honestly, it just came naturally. I was selling the computers, and we used to do these build to built to order, like you come in
Yeah,
and we
sure.
build it to your specs.
Yeah.
Like Inca.
Like Inca.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
that's exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll make a long story short. The people that we franchised from had 3 different brands, but you really couldn't tell the difference. And I came in and I said, you know what? No, this ain't right. So I took one of the
Too much
brands.
shit.
It had a good name. It was called Data Premium.
Sure.
And what I did was I started selling it. Again, it's built to order. So I developed the specs that I would put in it, and I would talk to the customer and build it up the way I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Our average profit margin on our standard line was only about 22%. That line I used to get over 50% profit margin.
Wow.
That's huge.
Just by adding better quality parts and then
Yeah.
talking about it.
Yeah.
And then and it just came natural for me.
It's a computer. Like how much? What was the difference between the pricing between the one that was less?
Oh, AT back in those days, man, a computer for your homes was around $1,200 to $1,500.
Yeah, I remember that. Of course.
And so these I'd sell them for about $2,000.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but people would pay it because the other thing that I did is put a 3-year warranty on it,
Uh huh.
and that did half the sale for them. But you know what?
Which is what? Just parts anyway, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Parts and
And
service, and mostly it's just a user error most of the time.
most of the time, it's exactly
Yeah.
what it is. But you know, the other part of that discussion is I did the same thing in the wireless business. Remember, I was telling you I started my wireless store,
Mm-hmm.
and so I used to sell Verizon branded accessories in the store, and they used to charge us an arm and a leg for them. So I went out and I started buying a real good brand of accessories called Naztec.
I'd lose if they were charging an arm or leg. I'd be down to no arms and just one leg.
Anyway, the
Accessories?
accessories I was buying the Naztec brand, and then I made my own packaging.
Yep.
And what I did was I said lifetime warranty on the packaging.
Mm-hmm.
I ran that store for several years, and in those several years, the only people that came back for a lifetime warranty were like 4.
Wow.
It's great.
But
where
when
were you
you
based
see
out
that-
of?
My store was in Rochester Hills, and then I had another location in Farmington, but I did a lot of B2B stuff.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, you know, it's how you present stuff. That's the
Yeah.
whole marketing of it. And I used to buy the 69-cent cheap chargers that everybody sold,
Yep.
and I had a stand on the counter, and I had the Naztec on it. I mean, you could see the difference. The Naztec was 3 times thicker,
Sure.
twice as long. You could. So when somebody come in and say, "You charge $25 or $30 for that," I'm like, "Sir, this is what you're getting for $5 or $10,
Yeah.
and it can mess up your phone."
Right.
They buy it.
Mhm.
You know.
So let's get back to Astute. Like, so can you give us an example of what type of businesses that you service?
Sure. So first and foremost, we work with service providers, high-end service providers.
Mhm. Like,
If-
give us an example.
Attorneys are a big group of clients of mine.
Okay.
If your business does some type of service at a corporate level,
Mm-hmm.
you know, even if it's HVAC or lawn care, but you're doing it at a corporate level, you're
Yeah.
trying to go after businesses and get contracts,
Right.
we can help you. Especially like the skincare spas and those places that do cosmetic surgeries and stuff.
Oh wow.
That's a good client for us.
Okay.
We help them a lot.
We had a couple that were on here. I don't know
Yeah.
if they're clients of yours, but if you ever wanted to maybe reach out or visit them, but we had a couple. They were pretty solid.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a great business. And you know, the longer the decision-making process, the higher the value of the product, the more help we can provide to you. It'll
Mhm.
make a huge difference. You know, decision-making, if it's an impulse buy, that's one thing. We're not gonna add a lot of value, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Right. Right.
But what I also wanna make sure, you know, we talk about and understand is, exclusive of just the types of businesses we do, it's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the most important thing that I hope anybody watching this walks away with. Marketing is like a performance automobile. Think of a race car and a race car driver,
Sure.
okay? People will go and they'll pay for a service, and understand the difference here. You can hire a firm to do your Facebook marketing. You can hire a firm to do Google AdWords. You can hire a firm to do whatever.
Right.
The problem is you're taking individual pieces and trying to fit them together. You're working from the outside in. Think of a race car. For a race car to be really effective, you could have a great engine.
Mm-hmm.
But if the tires are flat, or if they can't handle, and the shocks can't handle it, and the rest of the suspension and the rest of the vehicle's parts and components
Yeah.
don't keep up with it, it's useless.
Right.
Same thing. I can't tell you how many times I've walked into a client. We already tried that. Yeah, I know you did.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
you didn't try the combination of everything.
Well, that's just
That's
it.
what
You
they're
didn't do it strategically.
Okay.
And here's all I'm trying to say. You have to have a marketing plan if you really want to grow your business. It is literally, and I know you've heard this before, it's like getting in your car and driving without directions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to Florida, right?
Yeah.
I know I got to get on I-75 South,
Yeah.
And this is literally a perfect example. People will start businesses and they get on I-75 South. They're heading in a certain direction. What happens then is they come to the first hiccup, the first detour, the first issue, and it all falls apart. Now they're lost.
Construction. They got to get off.
Yeah, yep, exactly. So you got to have that plan in place to ensure that you grow, and it also accelerates your growth, because even if you have success with one campaign, let's say you do Facebook and you do good with it,
yeah,
you might get 10 customers a month out of it, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
But if you did that and you packed in the right stuff on your website and you had the right message across the board, and you had like Google involved with your advertising, and then you had other factors involved, and your entire company, you know, first of all, you got to build the brand, and then you got to build the right message. If you have all that in place, instead of only getting 10 customers, by doing 2 or 3 more activities, you could exponentially grow. So instead of getting 10, 10, and 10, you're going to get 50, 60, because
right.
it's a complete system that's working smooth and flowing, just like that race car with the right driver.
There's no fall off, and there's people are
Absolutely
engaged. So talk about your process. What's the process of Astute Group?
Thank you. That's a very important point, because that is a key differentiator. So one thing about me, and one thing that makes a big difference, and look, I'm fascinated by the human mind.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I learn about, you know, people can be plugged into one of 16 types of personality traits. Do you believe that? All human beings in the United States are plugged into one of 16 personality traits.
Okay.
Briggs Myers is a company that developed this and found that out, or the people that found this out. So my mindset, the way I work, I'm a big picture kind of guy. And it's said my results from these testing, I've had several of those tests, say that I don't see a box. Now, why I'm saying this and why it's important, I'm not trying to brag, I'm just trying to say, you own a business, you have a certain hat on, you have a certain mindset on. You know what I'm saying? Anthony, you've been in this business for years.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind is pretty set on the way you do things.
Sure.
To grow your business, you got to do different things than what you did to build your business. Remember, what got you here won't get you there.
Right.
Anthony knows how to do ABC. You know, Junior over here knows how to do DEF.
Yeah.
All right? What about the rest of it?
Yeah.
So when I come in, I look at things, first of all, without a bias. You have to have a bias. It's your business. If there's a parent that doesn't have a bias for their kid, they're full of crap.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a business owner that doesn't have a bias for their business, they're full of crap, or they should shut it down.
Right.
Okay? So I come in without that bias.
Mm-hmm.
And I bring in actual data. We do market research. We pull the actual data and we look at valid information to make decisions with. Okay? With a new perspective and a whole different outlook. I mean,
you have a numbers guy on your team, or are you the numbers guy?
no, I'm a numbers guy.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this. I can calculate mathematical equations faster than
That was
calculus.
2 + 2.
Oh, gee, really?
Serious.
4.
Oh, yeah.
It was quick.
That was legit.
No,
So
seriously.
let's use me.
No, I know. I've heard that about you.
I want to throw this for example. You said so you do or you just don't deal with retail people at all, or you still do with them but very limited.
I will deal with large retail chains, but one-off stores and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm not cheap. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah.
No, that's okay.
You know,
but
most small businesses, like an individual store and stuff,
yeah,
you know, unless their goal is to grow and build a chain and franchise,
Right.
then yeah, I can help them. But to go in and help,
a single store
yeah,
is
yeah.
not worth it.
yeah, and it's not worth it for them either.
No.
You know,
Okay.
the higher the value of the product. Now, if the store is selling used cars or they're selling something of high value, that's different. But most retail that we're in is commodity goods.
Or if I said to you, listen, I'm on one store, I need to start branding and marketing, and I want to now be.
I want to build a franchise.
If I want
Or
to
if
be
you have a
5 by
restaurant.
next year, I want to be, within the next year.
Exactly, exactly.
That's when I would come to you and say,
Yep.
you know what, Ferris, I need to get you on board. And then when I do that, let's use me for example, and I do say that to you and I want to grow the business. What am I supplying you with to help me encourage the growth? Like, am I giving you what numbers that I've done, or you come see what my day to day is?
Yeah.
Just explain to me that process. from
Well,
that point.
we do in-depth analysis. So
Okay.
yes, I want at least 2 years worth of data.
Okay.
Okay.
And that means sales, trend of how much staff, people walking through the doors, and so forth.
What you've done in the past, promotions you've run, everything.
Okay.
Okay. What you've spent on marketing.
Sure.
You know, it isn't a crapshoot. We don't come out here and say, okay, throw $1 million into it. We're going to build your business.
Right.
There are statistics and values that we use that are industry averages to help guide what we do. A lot of people will be surprised by this, but if you're trying to grow your business,
Yeah.
you should be investing 10 to 12% of where you want the business to be. If you want $1 million business, you should be prepared initially to spend $120,000 in marketing to build $1 million business. just in marketing.
Makes sense.
Now, once a business is running and it's doing great, that number can get as low as 3%. Depends on your industry, depends on what you're doing.
Yep.
And when you say marketing, is that branding or advertising or lead gen or what is that? Like,
It's the whole 9 yards.
Okay.
But it all starts with the strategies. That's
Yeah.
where the plan comes in.
Right.
So, let's talk about something really simple. This is very valuable for any business owner. What do you market? You market a brand. What's KUWTC? It's your brand, Keeping Up with the Chaldeans.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what we market. This is Anthony Toma. We know him by his appearance. That's your logo. We know him by his name, Anthony Toma, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we know his reputation. Same thing in business. You have your brand, your logo, and your perception, how your business is perceived.
Yeah.
I'm building a perception right now as I'm sitting here talking with you guys. I'm selling my brand.
Yes.
I'm making sure that people understand what I do and why I do it better than anybody else.
So we've talked about your business. Let's get personal. Let's get a little personal here. So you helped start CASA, the Chaldean American Student Association.
I actually started CASA.
You started it, flat
Yep.
out started it.
How long?
Started. This was in 1992.
Okay.
Let me say something. It was my idea, but I got to give credit to some great people in school with me. People like Zina Kassab, Sam Naimi, Joanne Dickow, Joanne Thomas, and if I forgot anybody, please forgive me.
Yeah, it's been
But
a
you
long time
guys,
since
you guys made it
1992.
happen. It was my idea. I took a first stab at it, and then there was issues, and the traditional president vice president thing didn't work, and they came up with a great idea of having a board, 4 members that work together. That was brilliant, and they stepped up and made it.
Is it still going on?
Oh yeah, now it's in several schools.
Nice.
Derek Dickow actually took the concept and took it over to Oakland University.
Mm-hmm.
He built a very strong chapter of it, if you will. Now it's at U of M. And a lot of the guys, they're getting it to have something to add to their resume, but CASA was built for a very specific reason. And a lot of people don't know these reasons. One, yes, we wanted to promote education. I'm a firm believer in the value of education, a firm believer in it.
Mhm.
And 2, we wanted to educate the world about us because at that time, remember 1992 was the Gulf War.
Oh, yeah.
It had just
That was a
started.
tough
Yeah,
time.
91, wasn't it? The
Yeah.
storm was 91?
Yeah,
Well,
well,
went into 92.
yep, and it was in 92
Yep.
that I started CASA. And I wanted people to know who we are.
Yeah.
Because Chaldeans, 1992, our population was a few 100,000 tops.
In the
Yeah,
U.S.
if-
You're
if-
saying in the United States.
Yeah, in the entire United States.
In the entire United States.
50,000 in San Diego, maybe 100, 150 here if we were
Yeah.
lucky.
No, I think San Diego's less. It's still just only like
Yeah.
25, 30, but,
You get my point, though. I
Yep,
wanted
yes,
them
sir.
to know who we were. I wanted to educate them about us, and I wanted to promote education. 'Cause I
You didn't want to
remember-
be known as an Arab.
not just an Arab, but that we were, much more than what was perceived by the news,
sure.
Yeah,
to
of course.
promote a war.
Yep.
It's very dirty how news works, and,
Of
and
course
they'll
it
paint
is.
a horrible picture of you. Nobody knew who Saddam
Oh, it's gotten
Hussein
way,
was.
it's gotten
They-
way worse now.
Way
Oh
worse.
man, now it's
They're the biggest separators in this world.
Yeah.
It's not just that. There's no more ethics involved. There's no
No.
more. Man, who was it? One of the famous newscasters used to end every broadcast with "Good night, God bless."
Yeah.
Not Dan Rather.
Walter Cronkite?
Walter
Walter
Cronkite.
Cronkite,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Say God today, you'll get shot.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, no.
But say other things, and
Yeah.
it's all good.
You got a cross on your thing, better cover it up.
Oh, yeah.
Might get us killed.
Yeah.
Why, man? I ain't ashamed of it.
No, you better not be.
No,
Put your cross
no,
on.
man.
have, never
We
will.
incorporated a cross in the logo.
I noticed that.
Intentionally.
I saw that. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And you know what? That's a very important point you make, man. And people know me. I'm adamant about what I believe in, and I will not sell out what I believe in.
Oh, man.
Don't get caught up in political correctness. That's actually political BS.
Yeah.
You know what's correct. You were
Yeah.
raised with the values and the morals. Don't let anybody make you feel bad about it. Don't let anybody make you feel bad for standing up for what you believe in. Yes, there is a God. Yes, I pray. Yes, I go to church. Yes, I believe in God.
Yep.
And I have my values, and you're not going to break them.
Right. So we talked, you're showing your cross off, and so you were involved in churches back in the day.
Oh,
Talk
yeah.
about a
Yeah, I
little
used, to
bit
see
about
you, I
that.
used to see you back in the days. Didn't you guys get into the Keiko part? Were you guys the ones hosting some of the Keikos for
My involvement originally was I met a man who ended up becoming a priest through the computer business my uncles were in. We franchised from their family originally.
Chaldean?
Yeah. They lived out in Sacramento, California. He was the first Chaldean priest ordained in Michigan.
You know the person's name, right?
Yeah, we don't. Yeah,
Okay.
his name's Tom Simon, and he got me involved. And at the time, they wanted to start an English mass. And Dr. Steve Kassab, an amazing human being, God bless him, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, the most humble men you'll ever meet. He helped them create the documents and stuff to translate the Mass, and he served it, but he's a very shy guy.
Okay.
He's not like you two, you know. He's not comfortable on the microphone in front of
We
Yeah.
we were forced into this.
Yeah.
You can't see it behind me, but there's a gun to my head.
So Steve, I met Steve, and he said, you know what, I'd known him, but we got back up, and he said, you know what, you're the perfect guy to do the service. You got a loud voice.
What do you mean do the service?
So what happens is a shamash, as we call it, but I wasn't a shamash, I wasn't ordained.
Yeah.
You needed servers to do the Mass. When the priest says a prayer, there's a shamasha that says the other part of the prayer,
Correct.
you know? So I had to do that by myself.
Really?
Yeah, so I used to stand up there, you know, priest up on the altar, me on the side, and when we first did that, I remember the first couple Masses, there wasn't but 10, 15 people.
What church was that at?
Mother of God.
Wow.
It was
It's
back
amazing.
in 91. And we built it slowly but surely, and after about 6 to 9 months, it started building up, and then as more people came, more
Word
people
got
got
out.
involved, and I got all my boys
All the younger
involved.
people got involved.
Yep, I
That's a
pulled all
beautiful
my
thing, man.
boys in, man, and then
God bless you, man.
from that, well, not me, it's the church, I just did my job.
So I give a shout out to any of your boys.
Oh yeah, man, Sam Gummel was one of them. His brother Samir was a big one. Durate Antoon was a huge contributor, great contributor to the church and the English Mass.
What are these guys doing today?
They're all successful business people, and Durate's an engineer by education,
Okay.
and he's got a career. And Sam Gumma's a wholesale broker,
And one of our big fans.
one of your big fans. Yep.
Yep,
good
he's one of our
people.
big fans. Very good guy. Him and his brothers.
And then from there, like several years later, we were then blessed as Eucharistic ministers. We were allowed to give Eucharist.
No.
And it was funny because people used to always say, oh, they let you give Eucharist, but the night before you're out. Yeah, it was. God
Yeah.
doesn't say that we have to live in, we're not Muslims, and we not no disrespect to Muslims, but we
Right.
have a different set of beliefs,
Right.
and it's not a sin to enjoy life. The sins are other things you do while you're out there, but
Right.
more importantly, who you hurt.
Yes.
So I'm glad to see the community has changed since then. As we, you know, it's a Semitic value system that the Jews had, and the Arabs and the Muslims, and we're Catholics, and we need to understand Jesus didn't judge; he forgave.
Right.
Semites, the Jews and the Muslims and their beliefs, are the ones that judge.
Mm-hmm.
Remember?
Yeah.
He amongst you without sin cast the first stone.
There we go.
Who did Jesus say that to?
Was
A
disciple.
group of Jews that
Yeah.
wanted to kill somebody with rocks because they were judgmental.
Yeah.
But anyway. And then,
So tell us a few of the confessionals that you heard.
oh no! Okay, joking. No, I was the one confessing.
Does my voice sound familiar?
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Bless me, Ferris, for I have sinned.
How long after, you know, you did great in your youth, you got stuff that's still up and going right now,
Mhm.
right? CASA and other things are still going
Yep.
on under a few umbrellas, I believe, right now with the church. So that's great. You've put your time into it. You're a diehard Chaldean.
That's one of my
That's-
passions, man.
You're a diehard Chaldean. What pushed you to get this company going, Astute going? What was the motivational point after going through the church? You ended up going to U of M and did stuff with schooling. What got you to the point to finally get this open? And who was your biggest encouragement to do so? You know, family, friends, or
If
anything?
there was one.
Yeah.
There definitely was. I'm gonna do what I love, because I am a firm believer that when you do something you love, you're good at it naturally.
Yep.
And I love getting up and going to work every day, because I'll tell you one thing: being forced to work in the party store as a kid, I wanted to die. It was like being in jail.
It was
Yeah.
a nightmare.
I
yeah.
hate-
You're in a
hated it.
penalty box for
Yeah.
12 to 14 hours a day.
Man,
Yeah.
it was. I have to use my brain. The
But
reason-
thank God we had that avenue to get started for a launching pad, the grocery business, the liquor store business, and
You
that.
did.
You know,
We're in the
God,
trenches
thank
as
God.
Yeah,
Chaldeans,
yeah.
but it got us through.
Yep.
Made families, you know, survive.
But so go ahead.
So the mentors. My
Yeah.
father, I lost him at a young age, but my father, by the age of 11, had instilled in me the value of education.
Yeah.
One thing that everybody that knows my father that I've met,
And who was your father?
Hashid Hikmet Jamil Ayar,
God rest his soul.
thank you. Every person that knew him has said one thing, every single one. that is the smartest man in Baghdad. That is the smartest man I've ever
Really?
heard. Yeah.
So was he an educator?
No, he was a 3-star commander in the Iraqi military. I don't think they use the same designations as general,
Right.
but he had 3 stars, which was quite an accomplishment for a Christian.
Wow.
And then he worked for
Almost
Singer
unheard of that
Corporation.
for a Christian.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
have to be on that, right? Because it was mostly
Yeah.
Sunni or Shiites or whatever.
yeah.
Those
and
guys weren't around back then, were they?
yeah, they were.
Okay.
And then there was a career with Singer Sewing Machine Corporation.
Okay.
And my dad had the good fortune, and this is like something that really helped, because a quick point I do want to make.
Sure.
As you can see, I'm all about education, but education doesn't mean you have to go to college.
Right.
Right.
You and I have a close friend.
Yeah.
Saad Gumar.
Yes.
The guy dropped out of school in 5th grade.
Yeah.
He is one of the smartest people I know,
Right.
because he chooses to be, because he chooses to open his eyes.
Yeah. He's
You know,
very
self-taught.
educated.
Yeah, self-taught, and one of the greatest teachers is culture, and he's a firm believer in that. But my father, I'll never forget, he told me, he goes, son, you have to experience life. You have to go see for yourself. Don't be ignorant like a lot of our people
Right.
are. The guy went to China, Japan, India, different parts of Europe. He'd been to the U.S. before we moved here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that really taught him a lot. Saad Gumar's the same way. He's got an open cultured mind. He reads about different cultures. He travels. He loves
Yeah.
to learn. So that was my biggest influencer.
Mm-hmm.
And then the person that really helped make all of it happen,
Yep.
may he rest in peace, was Mike George.
Really?
Yeah, that guy is amazing. May he rest in peace. What he did
What was
for
your
the community-
relationship?
You know, I never used this.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually my grandmother's cousin. My
Okay.
grandmother's in Lucia. George and Lucia is the same family.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I never used that. He was in Miami, and I was in Miami one time, and I was getting on an airplane, and he was right there. And I went up and introduced myself and said, "Oh, I know who you are."
Mm-hmm.
He said, I don't know you by face, but I know
Yeah.
your name. I've heard about what you did starting CASA, and I
Okay.
know about your involvement in the church." And I said, "Wow, I'm honored, sir. Thank you."
What an iconic gentleman that guy
Yeah.
is.
Oh,
Huh?
God.
Well, Senior was always huge about Chaldean.
Yeah.
But look what he did. So he introduced me to the gentleman he was with. They were there on business. Very nice and everything. They upgraded him to 1st class. He got me an upgrade.
Yeah.
I just went up and introduced myself.
Right. Right.
So he was able to get an
Okay,
upgrade.
man.
He got me an upgrade to 1st class, man. That was the first time I flew up 1st class. I kind of hated that he did that, because after then it was hard to travel on regular coach.
That's
Good
hilarious.
story, though.
Yeah, but then years later I called him up. I said, "Mr. George, I'm starting a business and I'd like your help." And this was actually when I started the wireless business.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the capital to start it, and I had a great idea. I wanted to build it into more than just a store. And I called him and asked for help, and he said, "Come on in."
Mm-hmm.
Now, his normal policy, I don't know if you know this, he'll grant people a 15-minute meeting.
Mm-hmm.
He'll grant it if you call and ask for it, and you got to be a valid reason. We sat and talked for an hour and a half.
Wow.
He said, "I want you to come back. I'm going to bring my sons in. They know more about this stuff than I do. I just like what you're talking about, but I don't understand it."
Mm-hmm.
So he brought the boys in, and Rodney, George, and the boys were so nice. They were so impressed. They said, "Listen, if we don't get you the funding through the bank, would you be willing to partner with us and we'll back you?"
Oh, nice.
That was an honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
That really touched my heart. And I have great respect for the boys. I have great respect for Rodney.
Mm-hmm.
I can pick up the phone and call him. And
Yeah, great.
he's
That's
so,
nice.
you know, he's so kind about it.
So what
He's
is
so gracious?
what does being Chaldean mean to you?
Man, what does being Chaldean mean to you? Do you
Yeah.
guys even know what Chaldean is? Do you even know? If we talk to the 200,000 Chaldeans that exist today,
Don't break my heart. They can't even speak to you in Suda. They can only speak to you.
that's fine. I want them to even know what Chaldean is.
Yeah.
Okay? There's
So let's educate him, Fred.
let's keep it real.
Yeah.
Guys, we are Assyrians that broke away, and we went to the Rome Catholic. We went to the Pope in Rome and said, "We don't like the way that the Mass and the Church is being handled by the Assyrians."
Okay.
So the Pope at that time said, "Okay, I'm going to grant you your own church, and it's going to be called the Chaldean Church because of where you're from." You know, thousands and thousands of years ago, Chaldeans ruled the Middle East. They were the first world ruling empire, Nebuchadnezzar. But we are not their direct descendants that we can trace. And there's something that's very important. You can talk all you want, but if you can't prove it, it ain't worth a dime.
Right.
Granted, in today's world, you got blogs and stuff, and people share their opinions, and idiots take it as fact. Don't believe everything you read if it's not backed by facts. I mean, if you guys remember back in school, you read a book
Yeah.
report, you had to cite sources.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now you got people writing blogs from their rear end.
Yeah.
From Google, what they
I
search for.
think
Yeah.
that this is this and that's that, and even me, I write my blogs with my opinion, but that's what it is. It's my opinion. It's
Yeah.
not fact. Fact is
Yeah.
proven, right?
Yeah, we know about facts, right, AT?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So Chaldeans are about, I think it was 1600 that this happened. I get it confused. 1400 or 1600.
Okay.
You know that they
Once
went
a
and
couple
did
hundred
this.
years between
For-
friends.
yeah, exactly.
Fuck it.
So that's who we are. Okay. I know that there's some opinions about being Assyrian, not being Assyrian. The fact is the fact. That's all that matters. Who we are today, we are people recognized by our
Right.
church. Now, it's important that our community understands. Guys, the only other people that I know of are the Jews. Without a nation, they still existed because they were recognized by their religion.
Mm-hmm.
If we stick strong to our faith and to our church, we will never disappear. But that's a very challenging thing to do, and I know
It's a
that.
very strong
Yeah.
statement.
This
I like
is the
that
melting-
statement actually.
It's a fact. It's not a statement.
Yeah.
I'm not sharing my opinion. I'm telling you.
No, I mean,
If
that's,
you
that's very
come here
strong.
from Italy-
I like that.
You come here from Italy,
Right.
you're recognized because you're Italian, right? You come here from Ireland, you recognize your line.
Right.
Guess what your fourth generation of kids is? American.
Yeah.
You come here Chaldean, and you stay true to your faith because that's what we're recognized by. There's no nation.
Right.
How did we exist in Iraq for 400 or 500 years?
You're right.
I'm a Chaldean Iraqi.
Yeah.
My little sister was born here. She's a Chaldean American.
You're right. That's exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I am. That's
Yes, there is a nation associated with where I'm from, but that's not my identity. My identity is my Chaldean faith, and that's very rare.
And that's for everybody, though, in the United States that has to understand that. You come from somewhere, you are of some faith, of some sort of race, what have you. It's just there's no
Well,
need.
that's the whole point, though. I apologize. It's not everyone. The race is determined by your ethnicity, what country you're from.
Right.
That's how most people identify.
Mhm.
There are, of course, exceptions. I mean, by God, there's so many different races in so many different places in the world. But we have the unique characteristic of being identified by our faith,
Right.
by our church. Okay?
Okay.
So if we stick to that, then we will never disappear.
Yeah.
Even with what's going on in Iraq right now, I mean,
Because our faith we can take anywhere.
exactly. And the perfect example are the Jewish people.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny that I mentioned the Jews, but we are very much like the Jews.
Yeah, we are.
If you ever listen to,
We mentioned that all the
yeah,
time.
yeah, just for the record, there was something that was about to happen this weekend. There was unity between the Chaldeans and the Jews that were going to strengthen
Always.
the protest and everything. But they backed us up during the whole ISIS thing. They were there
oh my
for
God,
us.
they were the first ones there for
Yeah,
us.
I remember.
They were right there for us, and even in the community with the church and stuff, they're so nice. The synagogues around the church.
By
and-
Doha and all that too.
Yeah.
Over there too. There.
Yeah, they're always willing to help with parking and stuff. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the way it sets such a perfect example that I wish the Middle East would see. But that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, right.
The Middle East is by
That's
design.
a topic for the naughty.
Yeah.
So
But you know what would be a great topic for you guys to have one day,
What's
and I'll
that?
help you put together the right people. I'm not one of the right people for it, but people that will come in and talk about the Chaldean history,
Hmm.
okay, and the impact of the other religions on the Catholic faith that we are.
We definitely want to start exploring different avenues instead of just business and
we have. I
the
mean,
Chaldeans.
Basil Bakal. He's
Yeah.
coming on. He's going to be on our show. Believe it or not.
Basil Bakal.
Basil Bakal. He's going to be coming on to our show. So he's got a good understanding of the history. I mean,
Well, my uncle helped Father Sadhed write the history books that are used by the church. He's a well-recognized historian and genius.
Mm.
And if you guys want, I'll hook you up with him, Dr. Jamil.
That'd be good for the
Dr.
naughty.
Samir
Yeah.
Jamil.
Of course.
Yeah,
I'm saying, get him
but you also need to bring in some others that will talk about the facts. And then, you know, there's a lot of characteristics in our faith that we have that are really not representative of Catholicism. They're diehard habits that came from being from the Middle East. But that's a whole nother discussion.
So what else do you want to talk about before
Yeah,
we
let's
wrap
say-
up?
yeah. Any shouts out to anybody that works with you in the Astute Group, or if you're
anyone.
hiring right now,
Yeah,
or
shout out
anybody.
to anyone.
You know, that's a good point. I am looking for a part-time administrative assistant, someone who
Any funding for anything that you need, you want to let our viewers know if you're looking for anybody to expand this. we're trying to help anybody network, whether if you
Well,
need funding for your business.
That's a beautiful
or
thing. I appreciate
employees.
that. Right now, we're good with the funding, but what I am looking for is if you're serious about growing your business.
Yep.
Look, guys, it's happened time and time again. Subway started off as one store. Name any big retailer, they were one store.
Yep.
You know, the difference was they put together the right plan. McDonald's is the
Yeah.
perfect example.
Yeah.
The guys that started it were simple guys making some burgers. This other person came along, found it, loved it, bought them out,
Yep.
and implemented
Blew it
the
up.
plan.
Yeah.
Yep.
He implemented the plan.
Yep.
You know, and it's crazy. It's I'll share a quick fact with you guys, just out of discussion's sake. You know what core competency means?
Core competency.
Mm-hmm. It means what your business does great.
Mm-hmm.
So if I ask you what is McDonald's, what are you going to tell me it is?
Big Mac burgers.
Fast food joint.
Restaurant, right?
Yep.
Yep.
No. McDonald's core competency is fast service.
Right.
They wanted to get into the coffee business. They saw how good Starbucks did.
Mm-hmm.
They dominate. They're one of the largest coffee retailers in the world now.
Who's that?
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Oh, okay.
And to be honest
Because
with you,
it's
that's
quick on the draw.
Right.
It's not, but it's not just quick on the draw. They know how to make a good well, I shouldn't say good, but their coffee is pretty good.
Mhm.
But they'll make those drinks very fast, get you in and out
That's what
really
I'm saying.
quick.
Yeah, the crunch of boom, in and out, in and out.
And that's what their core competence. That's the skill set they have that gives them value.
Right.
Small things like
You know, it's marketing that enables the several dozen types of burger joints that exist. A small differentiator, and you have a market. Pizzerias. How many different pizzerias are there? One delivers. One gives you pizza. One gives you $5 pizza.
Right.
And that's that applies in business at any level.
So how about a message to all our younger viewers, our lost viewers, our people that need to be enlightened a little bit?
One
Why don't you
nice little
enlighten
push to make
enlighten
them
them
go
for us,
forward.
Fred?
Guys, do yourself a favor though. Either get a skill set, go learn how to be a mechanic, go learn how to be HVAC,
Yeah.
and be the best that you can be at it. No matter what you do in life, even if you decide to go to college, be the best that you can be at it. You ask me, why do I do what I do?
Yep.
Because I know I can be the best at it. It's what I love.
Yeah.
I love what I do. So by being able to love what I do, I'm the best that I can be at it. Whatever you do, you got to be the best. In a competitive marketplace, which this country is, which this world is, you have to be the best at it. And that's got to be your goal. And the other thing is, everything starts with a goal. Define your goal first and then move forward.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So being the best is educating yourself, making sure that you're doing the right thing at the right time, and then repetitive.
Yes.
Being repetitive.
Actually, great point. Repetitive habits. The one thing that changed my life, okay, was a book called The Power of Habit.
Mm-hmm.
People used to always tell me, "You're so smart, how come you're not rich?" There's not a correlation between intelligence and wealth.
Yeah,
Right,
there
right.
isn't, not at all.
Name the most intelligent people: Einstein,
Or the kids that we
Mozart.
went to school with. Let's be real.
Beethoven.
Some of the most smartest kids that went to school with, we surpassed them.
Yeah, well, that's
Because
just
we
it.
understood the dollar to
It's
$2.
the habits. Anthony talked about the store business.
Yep.
The store business developed our habits of being hard workers, putting in long hours. Man, yesterday I worked 14 hours.
Yeah.
But I love what I'm doing. I hate it at the store, but what I was doing yesterday, I loved.
Yeah.
So it's as Anthony said, educate yourself. And guys, I'm not just talking about books. You don't have to go to school and spend hours in
There's
classes.
YouTube. There's anything. all kinds
There's
of
so many
research
ways
out
to
there.
learn.
Audio books. Anything.
I dedicate, as we're talking about habits, I dedicate a half hour to an hour a day to reading. And I hate reading long stories. I hate reading big books. I like to read. I go to entrepreneur.com and I find good articles.
Right.
And they have a huge impact. And I'm told that I'm an intelligent man and I appreciate that, but I'll tell you I'm a dummy because there's so much more out there to learn and I know that. The person that thinks that they know it all are the dumb ones.
Yeah. Those are the ones that are in trouble.
So before we take off right now, you said there's an opportunity. You're looking for employment right now for you
I'm
guys?
looking for an administrative assistant on a part-time basis. It would be like 10 to 3, Monday through Thursday.
Yep.
And it's really administrative and personal assistant. I'm so busy that I don't have the time to do some of the
Follow-ups. and stuff.
detail work
Yep.
and I am horrible at details.
It's
You know,
okay.
I'm honest about it. I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses.
You went from ground level, and now you're at level 1 right now, to level 2.
Yeah.
That's the only way. So if people want to find you, I know you submitted to us links and to everything, so we'll have
It's
that
all
for
going to be
the...
in the description.
Yeah.
And by the way, the link that I submitted, there's a promotion on there. astutegroup.com/LP/KUWTC.
Okay.
There's a page on there for anybody, any business owners, or anybody that wants. There's a promotion on there that I'd like you to check out, and if you want to take advantage of it, just sign up.
That's great, man.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. And then before one last thing is, who is somebody you want to see on the show at some point in time that you'd like to, out of our Chaldean community, that you want to let them know, and then hopefully we'll get them on here. Anybody in particular you
I would love to see Bishop Francis. Bishop Francis.
he's been
Yeah.
he's the popular candidate.
Bro.
We do too.
He's been, yeah.
Bro, let me say this straight up.
We might have to go to him.
Serving the church many years ago, and being involved in the church for many years, I started to lose faith in some things. And then Pope Francis and Bishop Francis came along. And that was God smacking me upside the head saying, hey, dummy, you forget who I am?
Right. There you go.
He restored my faith, as did Pope Francis.
Bishop
amazing.
Francis, we're coming after you, just so you know.
I'm sure he's shaking in his boots.
The problem is trying to get time with him. He's a close friend of mine. I can't even get time with him. I book appointments with him a month in advance, and then I still get
Right.
a cancellation here and there.
Well, thanks, man. We appreciate you coming out,
oh
sharing
no,
your
I
story.
appreciate you guys, man.
Great to have you on.
It was
was
awesome having
awesome.
you on.
Thank
I'd
you.
love to see the episode of the Naughty that you're going to do, hopefully,
Hopefully.
and see some more of that fire.
We'll keep a little quiet.
Yeah. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Peace out, people.